Alright, so in my previous video, I just explained classes. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about something more comprehensive, okay, or more interesting. Okay, we'll be talking about our class libraries. Okay, so a class library, first of all, need to understand that a class library is the same with a class, but in this case, we are actually performing something called encapsulation. Okay, and encapsulation is actually an important feature of object-oriented programming because it is very important for code reuse. Okay, all right. So now let's create a new project, and we create a class library. Okay, you need to give your class library a meaningful name. Uh, let's just say school class. School class, right? And now, as you can see, there's no graphical user interface, it's just a command line interface. Okay, and as you can see, we've already been given a class for free. We can just rename that class. Okay, so it's school, and as I explained in the previous video, we first put attributes, okay, which are your variables, and then we put methods or properties. Okay, right. So what you need to understand here is that private, these ones are actually these ones can be seen by the user of your code. Okay, and we've got so this is actually public, and we've got private, can't be seen. At the same time, with dim is like private. All right, to understand, you need to understand these things first. Okay, so let's go with our public variables. Okay, because we want the user or the code user to understand these variables. Okay, so public, a public teacher is string, so public student is string. So let's go to our methods now. Okay, so our methods, we are going to make them public, because if we do not make them public, they will just appear as private methods and they won't be seen by the code user. Okay, so public sub. Okay, so public sub get teacher. Okay, message box, the teacher's name, and at the same time public sub get student. Okay, message box, the student's name. Okay, so here's the interesting part. You build this project, you cannot start it. Let's see what happens if we start. We are returned with an error because you cannot start a class library. Okay, you can only build the class library. Okay, so we build it and it's successful. Okay, so let's close our in order to prove my point, I'm going to close this program. Yeah, save. It's saved in which folder? In the desktop. Okay, so I just saved it as school class. Okay, here's my school class. Okay, so now let's open another project. Let's create another project completely different now. Let's just make a console application. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is to go to project, and you need to add reference. Sorry, add reference. Okay, and these are the previous classes that I've been working with. Okay, so you have to browse, and you go to your desktop, school class, the binary folder, the debug folder. Here's my dynamic link library. That's the definition for DLL. It's dynamic link library. Okay, So we open. So the first thing that we do here is to import the class. Okay, so import, and before we do anything, you can see that we're already given things to import. We want to import the school class. Okay, so now we need to declare a local variable because this is now the front end of our application. Okay, we do not use those variables. We do not know those variables, but we're going to import them through this variable. Okay, so dimp is string. Is it a string? No, it's not. Maybe it's not an integer as well. What is it? It's actually the class name of our dynamic link library. Okay, our dynamic link library name is school class, and the class name was school. Do you see? So what you can say is that a class can actually be a type. Do you understand? So dimp a school. So how do we assign values, or how do we use this class now? Okay, listen to this now. We always first start with the variable that we have declared as the type of the school. Okay, so p dot, as you can see, we are given these public variables that we first declared in the class. So p dot student is equals to, I'll put my name, don't take my counts. P dot teacher is equals to, I'll put my teacher's name. So now, how do we actually use those methods in the class library? It's still the same thing. P dot, now it's not an attribute, it's actually a method. So get student and p dot get teacher. Okay, let's run this code. Will this code be successful? What are your thoughts? Let's test it. No. Why is it not successful? It says object reference not set to an instance of an object. What do you mean by an instance of an object? It means that we just declare this as a school. Rather, it should be a new school, a new instance of the object school. Do you see? Let's start it again. We are returned with a message, Lionel Cyberwave. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this series. I'm recording another video just now for inheritance and other things.